Alright guys, my name is Christina Lenahan, and the article that I will be analyzing and presenting to you guys is called Noun Phrase Elaboration in Children's Spoken Stories. Alright, so before I start, there are just some keywords that I want to define, just so you're clear. A narrative is a story or account of events different from conversations. They're different in a number of ways. They are often monologues. In a conversation, the listener is passive, whereas in a monologue actually, the listener is passive and the speaker is responsible for organizing and providing all the information. It's also agentive focused, meaning agentive meaning like the agent or the person doing the action is the thing that's being focused on, and the type of narrative used in this case study would be a story in which the children created themselves. Okay, syntax is the arrangement of words and phrases to create well-formed sentences in a language. Literate language is characterized by a denser, more specified lexicon or a mental dictionary, and has more complex syntactic forms than that of oral language. The development and use of literate language has been strongly linked to reading and academic success. Okay, next slide. We go on to features of literate language styles. Now the first feature is called an elaborated noun phrase, or an ENP for short. This feature is what we will be primarily focusing on in this presentation. Elaborated noun phrase is a noun phrase with two or more modifiers preceding the noun, or with qualifiers such as prepositional phrases, appositives, and relative clauses following the noun. So, for example, the big brown dog chased the cat. My friend Mary lives next door. We saw the girl in the blue dress, and I don't like people who are mean. Those are the italicized portions of the sentences are the elaborated portions of the noun phrases. Also, some more information on noun phrases. They are particularly sensitive indicators of linguistic growth in the school years. ENPs are also sensitive indicators of the quality of children's language learning environments, as it's been proven that the rate at which children develop ENPs has been linked to the rate at which these are heard in the classroom environment. So basically, the more ENPs they learn, the more they are able to produce and use in the classroom environment. Okay, adverbs, pretty simple, but I'll just go over the definition. They modify verbs, adjectives, including numbers, clauses, sentences, and other adverbs. And then in the yellow, those are some examples of adverbs. Conjunctions, there's a coordinating and then there's subordinating conjunctions. And for the coordinating, examples are but, so, yet, excluding and then, though. And for subordinating, we have because, before, after, while, until, if, although. Alright, mental and linguistic verb. These are verbs expressing cognitive and linguistic processes of humans, animals, or fictional characters. So examples for mental verbs are decided, thought, knew, forgot, wished. So these are things that, that are mental in your brain. And then linguistic verbs, said, yelled, called, asked, things that you produce linguistically. Okay, so an introduction. The purpose of this research is examining one specific feature that is characteristic of a literate language style, namely noun phrase elaboration. Alright, so the following research questions and predictions were investigated for 4 types of noun phrase elaborations occurring in narratives elicited in 2 narrative contexts for children at ages 5, 8, and 11 years of age. Okay. So the first research question. At which ages will most children produce simple and complex noun phrase elaboration? And then the authors predicted that they expected this to occur for both types of simple noun phrases at age 5, for complex pre-modification with more than 2 modifiers at age 8, and post-modification at age 11. I'm going to go into more what simple and complex noun phrases are and what pre- and post-modification means a little later on. Also, ENPs contribute to the explicitness of character and object descriptions within a narrative. The following examples show how mastery of noun pre-modification enables a speaker to express information more concisely. So, for noun pre-modification, examples of that would be adjectives and noun modifiers, whereas noun post-modification, examples of that would be relative clauses and noun modifying prepositional phrases. So basically, pre-modification are more simpler to, use. So saying something like, I guess, like the big brown truck, that's like an adjective. Whereas if you were to say something like, I don't know, a prepositional phrase, something like, I went to the park in my underwear and we had fun, or something like that. I don't know. Okay. These are the examples that I was saying. Here we go. Okay, so for noun pre-modification, this just shows how the speakers were able to express information more concisely here we have 3 years, almost 4 years, to almost 6 years. So first they say, I see a house, it's made of wood. But they were, once they were able to modify the noun better, they say, I see a wooden house. So, you can see it's more concise, it's more clear, to the point. In the second example, I see a house and another and another. That was someone who's 4 years, 11 months, and then someone who's 6 said, I see 3 houses. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. The second question, is there a difference in the percentage of children at each age producing elaborated noun phrases in the object and subject positions? And they predicted that at all ages, most children will produce elaborated noun phrases in the object position, but there will only be a few instances of complex noun phrase elaboration in the subject position at any age, with only simple elaboration produced by the majority of children at age 11. Just 2 more. Okay, so what a complex noun phrase, complex subject noun phrase is, an example of that would be noun phrases with multiple adjectives or post-modifying prepositional phrases. Okay, so the third question, is there a difference in the percentage of children at each age producing ENPs in the picture sequence and single picture context? I will explain the difference of the picture sequence and the single picture context a little later in this PowerPoint, and they predicted that at all ages, more children will produce noun phrase elaboration in response to single picture context. Okay, so this is the first context. It's a sequence. The children were shown a series of 5 different pictures about a boy who was experiencing a series of problems that prevented him from getting to school on time. Okay, so and that's just like a little funny cartoon I found while I was late for school. Okay, and then in the second context, the children were shown a single picture that depicted 2 children watching an alien family walk off a spaceship that had landed in the park. So like the first one, they first showed the children with, they showed 5 different pictures, same story, and then the second picture was one picture, but like, a different story with the aliens. Okay. And so the experimenters expected that there would be more noun phrase elaboration in response to the single picture context, because this picture depicted a fantasy scenario involving multiple characters and objects, compared to the picture sequence with the boy and he's being late to school, which involved only a single character accomplishing one action per picture. And the aim, or the reason for doing the experiment, the current investigation focused on the use of noun phrase elaborations with oral narratives produced by children at 3 ages in the elementary grade, 5, 8, and 11. And the aim is to provide a description of the development of one type of structure, elaborated noun phrases, within a narrative context that can serve as a guide for clinical judgments concerning the identification of children with language deficits and for decisions about targets for intervention. So basically they want to be able to describe this one type of structure, which is elaborated noun phrases, through the use of narratives, like stories, and they want to be able to apply this knowledge in the clinical setting.